I'm going to address a sensitive subject for a lot of the relatives out there who is dealing with someone who has mental and psychological problems. Some of you are throwing money at the situation and it's really not addressing the problem. Let me explain. If you have a person who has had unaddressed psychological and mental problems, when they grow up, they're eventually going to wind up a product of the system. Ergo, they're going to wind up in either a mental institution or they're going to wind up in a penal institution. Now, if they wind up in a penal institution and their issues are not addressed, they're going to be a habitual criminal, because why they commit the crimes have a lot to do with their mental and psychological state. And if they never receive treatment for it, they might do some time, but when they get out, it's a matter of time before they wind up right back in because those issues were never resolved. Now, we're going to do some simple math here. Let's say that you have a person ever since they were the time that they were little, they exhibited these same behaviors. Now, I fully understand it. There are some psychological conditions that children grow out of. That's a fact. But if you see this person at the age 20, 25, 30 that are exhibiting these same behaviors that they exhibited when they were 6 or 8 years old, more than likely it's a problem that needs professional attention. If you are an interested party, whether you're a parent or a guardian, or if you're a close relative and you've seen this person grow up with these behaviors, and you want to address the problem, address it properly. And what I mean by that is don't use your resources to help fuel their fire. Use your resources to help them get the treatment that they need. There are people right now, and I'm going to address a very sensitive issue because there are a lot of women, particularly women, out here doing it. They have had children that have had problems for a very long period of time. They probably started out in their childhood in criminal activity. And they have been in and out of the system as a juvenile, starting out that young. But you knew their behaviors were not normal behaviors. They were not behaviors that were acceptable. That's why they wound up in the system, because they were not processing things properly. Now, what you should do is get therapy for that person. First of all, have them have a physical. It could be a neurological problem that you may not be aware of. It could be a chemical imbalance. Or if they're on medications from other chronic diseases, that medication could be creating a chemical imbalance, but you don't know that because you never had them examined. Or if it's not, it could be psychological issues. But spend your money on getting them the physical and psychological help that they need. That's where your money should be going. But I'm going to tell you what a lot of you are doing. When they get in trouble and they catch a charge, you have to worry about bail and bond and lawyers and court fees and everything else. And instead of addressing the source of the problem as to why they committed the crime, you turn around and you sell your cars, take out title loans and payday loans, even put your house up for mortgage depending on how much money is involved just to get this person back out on the streets. You tie yourself up financially just to get them out because that's all you care about. I just want them home. I just want them home. I just want them home. But you don't think about what's going to happen when they come home. You don't know what their game plan is going to be. How are you going to turn around and say that you want JoJo to come home and you don't know what JoJo's going to do? JoJo's going to come live with you. But has JoJo ever had a job? Has JoJo ever gone to school? Has he expressed an interest of a job or school? Is he gathering resources to get a job or go to school? Does he have anything lined up? Or is he just going to sit in your house until you get old and infirm and JoJo takes care of you? JoJo can't take care of himself. You have to think about these things before you sign on the dotted line to give money away to a situation. Now, mind you, now you never had him, JoJo, go to therapy for whatever it is he needs to get fixed right in his head. So what you think JoJo's going to do? He's going to come home and he's going to talk the right language for a little while, but if he hasn't addressed those problems, it's going to be a matter of time before he snaps and goes out there and commits another crime and winds up back in jail, and this cycle's going to go over and over and over again. So what you're going to do every time he gets locked up, you're going to go get yourself in debt and go get a lawyer? How many times are you going to do this? There are people right now that went out and got 15 and 20-year mortgages on their houses back in the 80s, and they're still paying off the mortgage. So you do the math and tell me why. 40 years later, they're paying on a 15 or 20-year mortgage, taking out mortgages just to keep their child out of jail because you don't want them in jail. Want to keep your cousin out of jail. Want to keep your grandchild out of jail. When all you had to do is take that little bit of money and put it into some therapy to help fix their thinking, because their wires are crossed. Their circuits are burnt out. The machinery is not working properly. So if you want to dump money into addressing a psychological problem that is fueling these people to commit criminal activities, do it the right way. Pay for them to get some rehab if they're on substances. Pay for them to have medical exams to make sure that there's nothing neurological going on. Pay for them to go to doctors. Pay into their health and well-being. That's what you need to throw money at instead of throwing money at lawyers. Because if you throw money into their health and well-being, then you won't have to throw money into lawyers and bondsmen and courts. Or else it's going to be a vicious cycle, and you're going to get further and further in debt. And if you live long enough to pay off your debt, your dreams of retirement are gone, your savings is depleted. For what? Just so JoJo won't be behind bars, but you don't know what JoJo's going to do. You've got to think. And yes, the ball is in your court. Their life is in your hands. And that's why I am saying, instead of throwing money at the legal system for all these fees and everything, that's just a temporary fix so they can get out in a matter of time to go do it again. No. Put money into therapy and into their health so they can start functioning properly, so they can stay out of the system. That's what you do with your money. And with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys to it. Peace.